How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of HDO, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I'm fucking it up already. I'm your host, Ethan, and I'm joined by, as always, my co-host with the co-host. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty alright. Here to talk about some games I wish I felt more swelly about.
Thank you. I'm also joined by the wee wonder
That
himself,
one's a stretch.
Kyle. Hey, Kyle, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing alright.
And we're joined by the Scottish Smasher himself, it's Jack. Hey, Jack. How you doing, bud? How's your internet doing? You doing good?
It's great.
Thank you. Well,
Don't ask about it.
cool. Cool. Well, this has been fun. Then see you next time, guys. No, this is Hot Games Only, where every week we come to you and talk to you about everything that's hot in the world of games. You can find us on podcast services everywhere and youtube.com for the video version. Head to bit.ly/thegiggers. You can head on over and subscribe. Get us to 100 subs. Kyle play Mario 64, a game that he hates. Woohoo.
I hate that video game a lot.
Hey, you love to see it. You can also subscribe on all podcast feeds, including Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play. You want it, we're there probably, so go and check it out. Give us a 5-star review if you're so kind. We also have a couple other things that we'll say in housekeeping. We've got a new place for you to find stuff as well. It's very cool. Remember to keep up to date with everything that's happening. You can head to Twitter. There's 2 Twitter accounts. For Hot Gamers Only specific announcements, go to @HotGamersOnly on Twitter. And for everything else under the Giggers umbrella, whether it's news, reviews, whatever the fuck else we do on this channel eventually, head to @TheGiggersYT on
right now.
We do
Twitter.
other things on this channel?
One day.
It's news to me.
A bit of housekeeping for you before we begin. Get ready, folks. It's a long one. If you don't want to listen to this nonsense, the timestamps down below. First announcement on housekeeping. We're bringing back HGO highlights. Finally, it's been 5 months, but finally, now that we have video podcasts, we are bringing back the highlights channel, HGO highlights. It's been fully rebranded. That's what I've been, it's what I've been working on for the past week. It's finally there. Just go to bit.ly/HGO clips. And there you go. Go ahead to subscribe. There'll be new highlights every 3 days. Clips, new and old. So you can find the best moments of HGO live over there 3 times a week at least. We might be doing more. We may be doing less. We'll keep you in the know on @HotGamesOnly on Twitter. Second piece of housekeeping is there's been a slight rebrand to most of the regular stuff as well as highlights. Also, HGO has had a little bit of a makeover. The Twitter's had a makeover. There's a new shorter logo that is available on podcast services now. Just a little refresh. Nothing major's happening. Just a little refresh. Thought I'd let you know because some people don't like change. Number 3, it's true, dude. It's true. Next week is Crash Bandicoot week here at the Giggers. Crash 4, It's About Time is out this Friday, which means Monday, first impressions. A review will be going out as well, and then a spoiler cast on Friday. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast feeds. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because there'll be a shit ton of Crash stuff coming out next week. And I'm not even kidding about that.
A metric fuck ton.
A metric ton of Crash stuff. We'll have first impressions Monday, hopefully a review by Wednesday, and then a spoiler cast on Friday. The only Crash 4 spoiler cast on YouTube, because why the fuck would anyone else other than us do a spoiler cast of Crash 4? That's the real question. I don't see it happening, but I can't wait to be proven wrong. And that also means
someone else out there who's saying the same thing.
I really do too. It'd be funny as hell. It'd be funny as hell. It also means, because Crash Bandicoot 4 is coming up, that there'll be a load of live content on Twitch TV from the likes of us playing Crash 4. We're doing, at least we know we're doing a Crash 2 race on Thursday. We've got live Crash 4 playthroughs and runs going on throughout the weekend. So a couple of Twitch pages to keep an eye out on. I know I, for a fact, will be streaming at twitch.tv/chaoticether. Kyle, are you planning on streaming it a little bit?
I was thinking of doing that, and going into the lead up, I was thinking of doing at least try to do one full run of Crash 2 Hundo every day.
Yeah, so
up to the release.
Twitch.tv/KDavisSRL. I know Kane will be streaming it at twitch.tv/KaneApaki. Mainly Sam will be doing it as well at twitch.tv/back. And then Jack, if you can figure out where to find a copy of the game, because I know it's hard for you, Jack. Look at you. If Jack, I can't tell if he's dead or not. We're just going to keep rolling with it. If Jack does stream, you can find him at twitch.tv/Jakobin. So there you go. All that Crash Bandicoot related goodness will be there. News and reviews coming soon as well. And I think that's all for housekeeping. I told you it'd be a long housekeeping, so hey, I hope that if you didn't want to listen to that, you use the timestamps down below, because God,
that was like 3 minutes, dude.
Yeah, I told you we had a lot of housekeeping to get into. I told you, I warned you. You're welcome. So there you go.
Yeah, but I couldn't skip ahead in the video.
Oh, too bad, dude. Too bad. There we go. That's everything in terms of housekeeping. Now on to the main show. Yeah, dude. Yeah, how many times are you gonna make this about time joke, dude? How many times? How many times? Right. Anyway, that's enough of that. We're going to be doing today our topic is, I don't know how we phrased it, but it'll probably be along the lines of 24 overrated games that we wish we liked more. It's something like that. I said 24. We don't have 24. I just said 24 because we did 24 underwhelming games. Whatever.
Underrated.
So that
Underrated,
was a
that's
fucking
the one.
lie.
It's a fucking lie. X amount of games. I think we'll have 20 odd, but it'll be X amount of games. So we're talking about overrated games today. We're not talking about games that we think that everyone else loves and we think are shit necessarily. We're talking about games that we wish we liked more and we think they're overrated because of that. So that is the topic. Overrated video games. I don't know who wants to start it off. I'm gonna go for we'll do it in camera order as I see it. So Jack, we'll go to you first, dude, because overrated video games is the top.
Teacher, don't call on me first.
Yeah,
I want to start.
I'm not ready for the presentation.
I want to start with Splatoon 2.
Oh God, we're starting off. Okay, dude, started off with a strong one. I wasn't expecting that.
I
Go for it.
very much liked Splatoon 1. Splatoon 2 just felt very much most of the same.
So a Nintendo sequel.
It was a
Womp womp.
Nintendo sequel. Womp womp womp. Yeah, but I just find that game very hard to play unless you don't have friends. It's not really anything against Splatoon 2. I'm sure the story mode's great and all, but
The story mode is great.
I didn't really play through all of
Octo
it,
expansion
so-
is brilliant, and I stand by it. If you haven't played Octo expansion and you own Splatoon 2, go and pick up Octo expansion because it's the best part of Splatoon 2 by a
Yeah.
country mile. It's great. It's great.
But in
Good to
terms
know.
of everything else of the game, it's just I'm shit at shooter games, so I couldn't like it as much as I wanted to because I'm just bad.
That was my thing with Splatoon 2. That was the game that I was like getting a Switch for originally in the first year. It was like,
That's the first games I actually picked up.
yeah, I don't care about Breath of the Wild. Mario Kart 8 I've already played, and Splatoon 2 was the first one. I was like, oh, Splatoon 2, that's the one that I'm gonna play. And then I 100%ed the story mode, and I played a lot of the Smuggler's Run. Was it? What was it called? No, it was
Salmon Run?
Salmon Run?
That was it. Salmon Run.
Yeah, that's like zombie mode.
Yeah,
and
like the
all, what was it
COD
called?
co-op mode, basically. Yeah.
That was actually kind of cool. I
It was
liked
really
that,
fun,
but again,
yeah.
it was the fact that was another thing that put me off of the game was like it was only on weekends or something you could play it or.
Oh yeah, it had a
something.
stupid schedule where you couldn't play it all the time. It was only at certain points of the day, and it was really dumb. And that was really stupid. And then yeah, the
And that
single
was the
player
mode
was
I
a
was
lot the
really
same.
looking into.
I feel like the
Oh.
actual multiplayer itself, there just wasn't enough additions. Then everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, there were loads of additions afterwards. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah, afterwards.
You
I'm
didn't
sure
play
now. I'm
it.
sure
If
now.
you didn't play it afterwards, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I
yeah.
feel like it's one of those games where it's like Splatoon people really love it, and I'm like, I loved it too for what it was. Like I say, Octo expansion was a real surprise. I fucking loved Octo expansion. It's great,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah, I
like
like the game.
I like the game. It's just especially the multiplayer in particular. I was like, especially with Splatoon 1, I was like, I've already got my fill of this casual like splatter the paint everywhere mode, and the comp mode is just way too sweaty. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm done with the multiplayer.
Too sweaty.
You don't understand how sweaty the Splatoon.
Splatoon 1
comp
was like you got
is. No,
played up with like a bunch of Japanese players and it was just impossible.
Yep.
Japan loves
I mean,
Splatoon, man.
That's how
so
Turf
good
War
now.
felt to me sometimes. Jeez.
They're so good.
Damn it, yeah. Japan loves Splatoon. Like that's their favorite game. Dude. That
It's
and
true.
Animal Crossing are their two, and it's ironic because they're both made by the same team in Nintendo. So it's like that team just apparently knows the Japanese audience a bit too well. But yeah, I'd agree with that one. That's a pretty good start, Jack. Good start. So let's throw it
Thank
over.
You make me feel
Hunter.
very appreciated.
Yeah,
All right,
Hunter.
well-
Let's start it off. Go on, Hunter. Knock us out the
I
park.
think I'll go with the hottest take I've got here. Skyrim.
Oh, hang on. I need to clarify with you for a second, Hunter. I need to clarify. Are you on about this version of Skyrim,
Oh,
or are you on
no.
about this version of Skyrim, or are you on about this version of
Here we go
Skyrim,
again.
or are you on about this version of Skyrim? Which one are you on about?
Are those all 5 of your entries on the list? But anyway, the PS3 version is the one I played. But I played it for.
Of course, it's the one that I threw the fucking service. Now you're on about this version of Skyrim. Oh, very cool, dude. Very cool.
I looked like the PS4 case, but
It did, but
No,
go
it's
on.
point.
No, this one's the PS4K.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I played Skyrim for about
10
30
minutes.
hours and enjoyed the time that I had playing it, but I never finished it, was never motivated to go back, certainly never motivated to buy it 700 times. And,
What are you about?
and after...
One
Why do you
for
even
every
have
color.
the Switch version?
Right, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Because, dude, you can play as Breath of the Wild Link.
In terms of actually playing these, that's the main version that I played when it came out in the day, was the 360 version. The PS3 version, when I had moved away from the 360, I got this like pre-owned at like a GameStop for like a $5, so I bought that and then I never touched it because the PS3 version was nasty. Then I picked up the Skyrim remaster on PS4 and I put in about 50 odd hours into this again. And I threw it that hard. The disc came out. It's great. Love it. But yeah, I played a lot of that. That's the version I played the most, is the PS4 version.
So
and then I bought the Switch version because I was like, hey, we need third-party support on Switch, baby. So I bought this and I never fucking played it. Literally haven't played it.
Let's see.
Good work, Ethan.
Carry on. This isn't.
Anyway,
I don't even think it's overrated. So carry on. I just got this for the gag. Go on.
Yeah, I don't even really think
All
it's
against the gag.
overrated. I just it didn't click with me. It
Yeah.
just seemed kind of like this muted RPG. Like the colors, for example, are just kind of like and everything's so grim and serious in that one. I really wish I had played Oblivion instead, as far as Elder Scrolls games that I played, because Oblivion looks like it's having a lot more fun. So that's just me.
My thing with Skyrim is a lot of my time I spent in Skyrim is not on the main quest line. The thing that differentiates for me a lot of like these Western RPGs in comparison to a JRPG is very much main quest, best quest. Is you want to stay on that path because the side quests are just usually fetch quests and other shit that you'll do if you're a fan of the game, but most of the time, most people are like, oh fuck that, you're not making me get 5 pieces of wood again, Xenoblade, I'm not letting you have it.
I'm not delivering these biscuits.
Yeah, I'm not delivering these biscuits a second time. Whereas like a Bethesda RPG very much is main quest, no one gives a shit. Go out and explore the world and make your own story. And it's the little side quests and it's the people you find. And that's the thing. When I played it on 360, I felt similar to you, Hunter, where I was like, I don't get why people love this that much. Like I was like, I main quested it and I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's good. Then when I did replay it on PS4, I finally understood it because I was like, right, fuck the main quest off. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm literally just gonna go off on my journey and find all the cool stuff. And I found a load of cool stuff and I had a blast with it. So I understand both sides, but
yeah, I guess I just didn't find enough cool stuff when I played, which I can respect. That was just.
It takes a long time though. It's a dedication, right? Like,
yeah.
You have to play for like 50 hours.
Just, which I only played for like 30, and something came up, and I was like, oh, I never felt like going back.
No, I can see it though. I say, even though I like Skyrim, it's way overrated. Like, honestly, the fact that we have been left with this fucking video game for what'll be a decade at this. Next year, it'll be a decade since this game came out. We have been left with this as our Elder Scrolls game for the past 10 years. No new one inside. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that good that you could just take a break for a decade, Bethesda. Like, it's not that good. Yeah. It's like saying, oh, Fallout 76, that was great. Dude. Let's leave the Fallout franchise for a decade. See you later, guys. Like, no. It's one of those interesting things, and I'm going to put these away now because that was a joke, and it's taken up like over half my desk was just the copies of Skyrim. But I agree. It's one of those things where it's like, I wish there was more life to it in a way. It's very glitchy and it feels old. Even when you played it, you were like, this feels old for 2011. You know.
I mean, it is a Bethesda game, so yeah.
Hey, but don't worry, Microsoft has bought them. Hey, cheers, Microsoft. Thank you.
Cheers, Microsoft.
If you can get them to make a new engine now, that'd be wonderful. But yeah, is that everything, Hunter?
Yeah, that's about all I have to say on the matter. It's just never clicked with me.
Very cool. Go on, Kyle.
I felt pretty much the same way about it.
You played it?
I did. I played like 3 or 5 hours on my old Xbox 360. And
nice.
I never felt attached to anything in it.
It's one of those
I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Like, nothing about it just clicked with me.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, very cool. Kyle, what have you got?
All right.
Pick of the day?
So we're starting out my list with a game that Sam actually told me to get, This is Final Fantasy 3. You can't tell because it's a white box.
Three.
Final Fantasy 3 on the
Man,
Nintendo
I love
DS.
Reflections.
But yeah, Final Fantasy 3 is DS game, came out there, and it uses the job class system that a lot of other Final Fantasies prior to this one used.
The horror.
Used in Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy Tactics, and also Octopath Traveler more recently has used it.
Yeah,
and I love job. Dude, you should. It's a really good
it's
game.
on the backlog.
It's great. It's amazing. Go play that game, friends.
When the season's over of game releases, my plan is to go replay Xenoblade 2 because I watched one episode of Chuck Connery's LP and I was like, I can't watch this because I want to go and play this game again so badly that I don't want to ruin it for myself because I'd forgotten everything. I was like, oh, I don't even remember half this shit. I'm gonna go play this again.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'll probably play Octopath or play Three Houses again, depending on if Hunter finally has Three Houses at that point.
I mean, probably not. It'll be a while.
Yeah.
There's still other things I want to get
It's on
to.
the list when I eventually have time, but no. Anyway, back to Final Fantasy 3. Sorry. Tangent.
So yeah, game uses the job class system where basically you pick whatever job you want and then that's how your character rolls until you decide to change it. In a good job class system game, so something like Final Fantasy V, you level up your job and then you get abilities transferred over to that you can use to transfer to other jobs you want to use. In this game, if you ever switch off of whatever job you're using, your damage output takes a huge hit, so you end up having to basically stop and grind for a little bit until your job starts doing damage again. And that's what really drove me away from wanting to play this, because it was just so grindy, so boring, and so repetitive that I just didn't even want to continue. It also doesn't help that it's on the DS, which if I played it when it came out, I would have been fine. I would have probably been on like vacations with my parents at that time, so I could have just had time to actually like mindlessly grind this out. But handhelds now are just super cumbersome to me.
That's how I feel. There's so many great RPGs on the DS and 3DS that I didn't play when those systems were quote unquote new. And now, even just going back and picking up a 3DS again, I'm like, there's just something about this that just feels like bad. Like I don't want to play like this anymore. Like I just want to play with my Switch.
Thing never felt super great to hold. A couple of times I borrowed a friend's 3DS to play like A Link Between Worlds or something.
It also doesn't help that the 3DS had like
time was not.
I was gonna grab mine, but I can't find it.
It also didn't help that the 3DS had like 2.5 hours of battery, and that's your lot.
You had to have like a new 3DS to even have a good
as well for the 3DS.
Yeah.
Because my thing was,
my
thing with 3DS was the base model far too small, and I had that for years, right? And to me it was like too small. I'd get hand cramp.
I prefer the smaller one.
Same.
Yeah, but then I got a new 3DS XL because they were going super cheap because this system was dying. So I got one for like £80 or whatever. I'm like, cool, I'll have a new 3DS. And it's way too heavy. The big 3DSs are way too fucking heavy. You just can't win. And I'm just like,
oh my god,
I don't want to use either of you.
Like, I've always loved the bossy kind of thing they did with 3DSs and the DSs and stuff, like the DS Lite. But anyway,
yeah, go on.
That's off topic.
Back on topic.
That was pretty much everything I wanted to say about FF3. Like, I'm sure there is a good game buried somewhere beneath all this repetitive, bland ass grinding, but I've been way too spoiled by modern RPGs that have streamlined the grind process so much. Or even in a game like Octopath where you can just like one turn kill everything if you need to grind. So yeah, it's really hard. I've also heard, I haven't played it myself, but I haven't beaten this game, obviously. I have no desire to beat this game, but I've heard the final dungeon is like miserable to the point where there's no saving at all, and it's just a boss gauntlet. So not too different from Octopath.
Oh god, no.
Oh, bye.
I got really scared because I didn't know where that throw was going.
That was my thing when I threw the Skyrim. Usually I try and aim it for the chair in the back, right, for people that are regular watchers of the show. But with the Skyrims, because there were so many copies, I didn't have time to keep... so I literally just threw them, and I was like, one of these fuckers is going to break at this point. But, I have so many copies of Skyrim. I don't care.
Last week when I frisbeed FF15 over to the other side of the room, I was aiming for my bed, but it landed on the ground, like past it.
Yeah, you heard
between
it.
The
Yeah, you
ball
heard
and
it.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought I broke the case. I didn't.
See,
I
when I
don't know if I'm
just
sad about
threw
that or not.
when I just threw FF3, I put like no power on the arc, so I was really afraid it was just gonna drop down and like hit me on the head.
It's just like,
But then we'd have a good highlight, so who cares?
so I do it for the highlight.
Either way, it would have been funny.
Hit the RY/HGO clips. Guys.
Literally throwing for content.
Right, okay.
Throwing for
I
content.
guess it's time for my first one.
All right,
I think
Ethan.
I'm going to go for the least controversial one first. And
Nah.
build up to it. And you're going to see the first one, and you're going to be like, okay, Ethan's going a bit edgy with this. Ghost of Tsushima is my first pick. I just don't get why
I can
people...
respect that.
I just don't see why people are saying this is Game of the Year. And that's my thing, is it's one of those games where I'm like, yo, this is a solid 7 or 8 out of 10 game, right? It's like, it's solid. It's just an open world game. Then when people are coming to me saying, yo, dude, fuck Last of Us Part 2, fuck Persona 5 Royal, fuck Remake, Ghost of Tsushima is my favourite game. I'm like, how? It's so generic. Like
Ghost was so boring.
It's so generic. And those first few hours, I was like, oh, it's really fun, it's great. But then when you realize, oh shit, that's the loop, that's it. There is no real, like, it feels like it's pure exploration at first, but then when you realize that it's all just triggers that are usual just mini-map points instead, it's like, oh, this isn't exploration really, this is just using Fog of War different on a mini-map. Like, this is just different. Like, the combat, great. I still think that Ghost's combat is fucking great. It's the perfect mix of a Assassin's Creed kind of just mash the buttons and a Dark Souls, make one mistake and you fucking die. It's a great in-between of those where you can still feel like people can get through it by mashing, but there's still some skill required to it, especially if you crank the difficulties up. But other than the story, which got interesting near the end, there's like, in terms of side content, I think all the side content in this game is just not worth the effort, and the collectibles aren't. And it's to me, this game, and it's a shame because we talked about it on the podcast earlier in the year. Ghost of Tsushima was, other than Persona 5 Royal, because obviously stupid Persona 5 fan here, but apart from Persona 5 Royal, this was my most anticipated game of this year. This was my most anticipated game. And I just left it going, and
I remember you, when you first got it, you were like really excited, and then you started playing through it, and you were like, oh.
Yeah, man, like, honestly, like, I love Sucker Punch to pieces, but to me, it was just the definition of fine. I think Infamous Second Son is better than this, in my opinion. And that's a controversial opinion to have, and I know I'm in the minority on this one, especially, and First Light. I think First Light's great. But no, there's just something about Ghost of Tsushima that just didn't click with me. And you can shoot me for this one. And yes, it'll still probably be at least get a nomination or whatever in our Game of the Year awards, because I'm sure Hunter will be like, yeah, Ghost was pretty good. But me, I'm like,
well, I don't know. It depends on what else I hit there, because, you know. What a face.
Oh, is he going to do this to all the games?
No. I hope I don't fucking break it. I
time.
paid full price for that. That was a mistake. But no, I don't know. I think it's still good. I think it's a decent game, but at the same way people are calling Assassin's Creed Odyssey a Game of the Year contender in 2017. Was it 2017? No, it was 2018.
I think 2018. I think 2017 was the
in the same. No, that was Origins. It's 2017. In 2018, yeah, it was 2018. When people were saying Assassin's Creed was a Game of the Year contender, and I was like, I don't understand it. This is the same way. Maybe I just hate open world games nowadays.
I do.
I mean, honestly, the way this generation is when I understand. Because, you know, open world saturation.
Because I thought for the longest time, I thought it was game length. I was like, I'm fed up with these really long games. And then Persona 5 became my favorite game of all time. And that's a straight linear fucking thing, right? There's 100 hours, and I loved it. I just think it's the open world. I just think filler just isn't for me. And it's why games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild, which I feel do open worlds the best, and especially because they're PlayStation studios, you think that Sucker Punch would have seen Horizon in early development and go, let's take some notes from that. And instead it was just a flat plane of a world. And it just... Anyway, I could go on about this game forever.
It's
I
a
still
really
think it's
pretty
good.
flat plane, though.
Oh, it's really pretty, and the combat's great. It's just I feel like everything that's surrounding it, the building blocks surrounding the great combat and the visuals, to me just don't hold up. And you can fight me on this. Last of Us Part 2 is the better game. Fuck you. You can fight me on that. I will die on the Last of Us Part 2 hill. I will die
I'll
on.
stand with you on the Last of Us 2 hill for the second week in a row, Ethan.
Thank you.
I'll just be somewhere else on the remake hill.
I'll get there when I finish the game. Or I should buy Last of Us 2, so I need to finish the first.
You'll get there eventually. I think you're gonna have the best experience of Last of Us Part 2 because all the controversy will have flown away by that point.
All of the silliness will be far removed from you.
Yeah, and there you go. But anyway, we've talked about Ghost of Tsushima enough. I've got so many games. Jack, you're up next. You're up next. Go for it, my bud. Spoil me. What is your next game?
This wasn't really a big pick, but I thought I'd just kind of throw it out just now early. Pikmin 3.
Ooh. I was not expecting that one. Go for it.
I actually haven't played a Pikmin game beforehand, and people kept telling me like constantly like, "Oh, Pikmin's really good" and all this kind of stuff. And I don't really know how to classify Pikmin as a genre. It's like RTS, like
Yeah,
I think so.
It's like a
Yeah.
hybrid
Kinda
of.
like RTS,
It's like an RTS hybrid kind of thing.
yeah, like I've played a few
Interesting.
like when I was younger and all this kind of stuff, but I got decently far into the game, but like after realizing about a good solid 15-20 hours into the game, I was just like, it's just something about it that's not clicking.
hmm
And I think also because like growing up knowing what Pikmin was like Olimar, Alf, and not Alf, sorry, Olimar, Louis, and all that. Going into Pikmin 3 like with the expectations of like Olimar and shit, it's like, oh, now I've got these 3 new characters I don't give a shit about.
Pikmin's that
So-
weird thing for me, where like people that love Pikmin are like, "Yo, this shit's the best thing I've ever played in my life." Like, they're there, like properly.
charming.
We're going explicit in this episode. They're jacking off over it, dude. Like they're properly going
jeez.
for it. You know, guys, there you go. We've been meaning to use the explicit tag for a while on the HGO now. But no, they properly love it, right? They're
And
probably
you brought it up during Pikmin.
yeah. Hey, dude, what can I say? What can I say? The most explicit of games, dude. The most explicit. But no,
Yeah.
people really seem to love Pikmin if they do. And to me, I just look at it and I'm like, I just even watching it, I'm like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Little
look fun.
satisfaction to doing some stuff. Like the game's charming and all. Like I appreciate it for that, but beyond that, the gameplay is just kind of.
Pikmin 3 looks gorgeous. Like it's one of the best looking.
Yeah,
Wii
it
U
definitely
games.
does. It was a really nice
Mhm.
game on the Wii U for that.
I know. I agree, and I'm sorry to the Pikmin fans that I said were jacking off to the game, but you know, it. I feel
Pikmin?
like it just is.
I
It's
didn't
just
say
it feels like you're either in Pikmin or you're not. It's like
Mhm.
it's like a Marmite game, right? You're either really into it or you're like, this shit just doesn't
Marmite,
work
nice.
for me. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Every time I look at Pikmin gameplay, it just looks like a bunch of micromanaging. Like, it doesn't look like fun.
that was something I really didn't know about Pikmin 1. Like I didn't like like how Majora's Mask is similar. Like you're under a time limit. Like you
Yeah.
get this shit done, or you just game
Or
over.
or you're fucking dead.
Oh, yeah.
I've never liked games that
The
kind
moon
of
eats you.
time management, but Majora's Mask is kind of the exception, I guess.
Mhm. Pikmin 1 at least has a generous time limit of 30 parts in 30 days. So it's very manageable. But yeah.
It's a short game, really, actually, when you think about it, when you look at Pikmin 1 as well.
hmm
But no, I can respect that pick, Jack. I can respect it. But hey, it's still a good game, right? It's just it's not for me. RTS in general, I just feel it's
Yeah.
not for me. Like I've tried it. I had friends in the past, like back in the day, when I did other stuff on YouTube like Let's Plays and stuff like that. And people were like, "Oh yeah, you gotta try stuff like try like Supreme Commander." I'm like, this is the most boring stuff, man. Like I just couldn't get into it. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, but it's all about the strategy and the micromanaging." I'm like, this sounds boring. I'm gonna go off and play something else that's a bit more
It's
interesting.
rewarding if you know what you're doing. If you don't, it's just kind of like you're just playing the game. And
It's one of those games that is like,
what?
oh yeah, it's great once you get good at it. Like once you're in, like once you know
Yeah.
everything, that's when you can start going. Like, oh, big brain time, right? Like, but it's getting there that I'm just like, I'm not about it. I wish I was, but nah. Monkey brain, dude. Can't. Just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Anyway, Hunter, do you have a game for us?
Yeah, alrighty. So this one's rather funny because I do quite like this game. It's just when you compare it to the rest of the games in the series, I don't love it.
Okay.
So, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Metal Gear.
You see, gameplay wise, it is the best the series has felt as far as like moment to moment controls and all of that. The problem is that, it is
Konami.
Well, yeah, all of the hassle that went around that game's release with Kojima and Konami's split, it wasn't finished. The story itself was very broken and like segmented. Why does he even own that?
Why do you own that?
Hi, I own MGS5. I've never played it.
Why?
Because
rather
okay,
good.
tangent. We've talked about my father on the show before. Also, I must have thrown this game at some point or something because
How dare you?
How dare you?
No, I haven't thrown it. It's been damaged at some point or another. But no, we talked about how my father plays games on the show before. And if there's one series that I don't know if I've ever told this story before on the show, but if there's one series that my dad absolutely loved, it was Metal Gear Solid. So that's why we own it.
Man.
Because fun fact, when I was born, my dad convinced my mum to buy a PlayStation 1 to give us like something to do, right? To like play games together. So he's like, oh yeah, look, as Crash and Spyro, we'll get it. So like, oh, we can play games together or whatever. When secretly he just wanted it so he could fucking play Metal Gear.
He just wanted to break necks and cash checks.
Yeah, dude, he just wanted to play Metal Gear, and he's a massive fan, so that's why I own it. But I also have tried Metal Gear, and I've tried Metal Gear 5, and I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into MGS5 at all. Anyway, carry on.
Fair enough, especially since you hate open worlds. Yeah, so a lot of the problems with this game, yes, as a fan of the series, the story is broken and segmented and doesn't come together very well. Like, the story beats are really cool in a vacuum if you're just watching them, but as a whole cohesive thing, it doesn't really vibe very well. And that's really disappointing for a series that is like my favorite video game story that I've ever experienced.
It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Like...
I love that. I love this series, and I really wish I loved Metal Gear Solid 5 as much as the other four. But I don't. I mean, it's still really good, and I recommend people play it, but...
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird games where it always feels like... It's so weird that Metal Gear, as we know it, ends with that game. Like, it's always like, that's the weird point, right? Like, that was it. That's when Kojima got the boot. That's when, like, Konami became they were already a bunch of pricks to him, but, like, that's when the final straw, they were like, yeah, we're getting you out.
That's when it boiled over.
It's just such a weird game to end on, because, like, I feel like even MGS4, which has its critics, right? Even like some people dislike MGS4 because it's just people like it's a film, and it's like you have a point. There are a lot of cutscenes in MGS4.
MGS4 was fan service a lot.
And
Metal Gear Solid 4 is fan service the video game, but if you're a fan of the game, you love it. I loved it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
But all the other MGS games, I feel like 1, 2, 3, and 4. I feel like I don't stop hearing people talk about if they love them, how much they love them, right? Whereas with 5 just is the weird one. Whereas I don't know if it's just because of everything that happened with Kojima and everyone just doesn't like talking about it as much. But I never hear that love for 5 as much as I hear about for...
I think people just kind of acknowledge the fact that the game just like suffered because of what happened during development. I don't think people are going to argue it's a terrible game because of it, because it's not.
Well, it's not a terrible game. It's just not what I wanted it to be exactly. I still really like it. I still dumped like 130 hours into it and don't regret it. But yeah, all inside of like a month too. I went off in September.
That's almost as crazy as me. Well, I can relate to that because for anyone that didn't know, I 100% did Death Stranding in 2 weeks. I came back. I missed it because I went on holiday. So the first thing I did when I came back off holiday was, it was December. I was like, I'll pick up a copy of Death Stranding. Maybe I'll like it. And then in 13 days, I'd put 110 hours into it and finished it. Like, it was crazy. It was, but no, I understand it because it was like I didn't click with MGS5, but As soon as I clicked Death Stranding clicked for me, so it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
It wasn't Kojima that put me off it. It was genuinely just
No, it was just
something about the gameplay.
way of the game.
I feel it.
Yeah,
Good pick.
that's about all I have to say on that.
Cool. Kyle.
All right. Well, we've brought up Sucker Punch once in this video. Let's do it again.
Oh.
Sly
you
2, Band of
bastard.
Thieves.
You bastard. How dare you?
Oh, does this hurt your feelings, Ethan?
No, not really, because I don't have
Okay,
feelings.
cool. Okay, fair enough. Neither do I. Anyways.
Me neither.
Good work, team.
Jack's just sitting there like, sad bastard. So anyway, go on. Slide to.
So, Sly 2, I don't necessarily even dislike the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good as the other two games in the trilogy to me.
Okay.
I think that 1 is a super solid platformer, and it fleshed out Sly's moveset really well. Sly feels really fun to play as and control. And Sly 3, it did a great job expanding on what Bentley and Murray can do as playable characters. And it was a good end to the series until Sly 4 happened. Now it's not the end of the series.
Which is still a good game. Which we
I wouldn't know.
about on HGO. Hey, maybe it'll be a clip in the future.
Check out the preview. Check out the prequel to this video.
Or wait a bit on HGO highlights, because that's one of the first highlights that I've actually made. So you can that opinion will be there eventually.
But yeah, as far as the game goes, I think that the first world, Paris, is a super solid opening world. I love Dimitri's world. I love Dimitri as a character. He's one of the best in the series.
Dimitri's robbed, dude. The fact that he's the only villain in that game that only has one episode to do with him is shocking.
That
and
was
also
really
the fact
unfortunate.
that he's such he's such a minor villain in this, but they just kept bringing him back because he was that good. It's
oh, did he come back in 4?
No, he's in a cutscene. Yeah, yes and no. He's in a cutscene, so he's in it. But
so I know he came back for a lot of 3.
He came back for a cameo in 4, which I find weird because in the teaser trailer for 4, he was in it and he was prominent, and they brought the voice actor back. And then in the actual game, he doesn't say a word, and he's just like a little bit of a cameo.
That's not nice.
He's a bit of he's basically looking after looking after the Thievius raccoon as well. They go through time, basically, is what Dimitri's doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so the thing that I say about Sly 2 is Sly 3 has the better highs. Like, when Sly 3 shines, it really shines, but Sly 2 is the more consistent experience for me, in my opinion. I think Sly 3's lows are lower than Sly 2 ever goes, and Sly 3's highs are higher than Sly 2 ever goes as well. I just feel like 2... I think the reason that people love 2 so much is because it's consistent. The quality of it, in terms of it, is consistent throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
Which is something I appreciate. And if anything, it's one of those rare games to me where Sly 2, except for Paris, the final worlds of Sly 2, in my opinion, the Jean Besson levels and the Clockwork level at the end of the game, those levels, in my opinion, are the strongest levels in the game.
I agree. I agree so much.
The 2 Jean Besson levels are fucking perfect. And
the 2 Canada levels are so freaking fun.
And the Clockwork level is also really fucking solid at the end. It's just a shame that, especially Raj, is just... It's so fucking boring. Those two...
The whole middle, Rajan and Contessa, I can't stand those levels.
I like the second Contessa one just because I like the idea of this war going on between the police and the Contessa. That has a cool theme towards it. But that first Contessa level is so fucking boring. Yo, you okay there, Jack? Someone's changing tabs. Don't do that.
I didn't change tabs. My computer just went...
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, no.
But no, anyway, yeah. I can see why people dislike Sly 2 more.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the lows in 3 are lower than the lows in 2.
It has been a while since I've replayed this game, but or the whole series even.
It's one that I need to go back and play. I haven't played since 2016, 15.
Same.
It's been 5 years since I played through.
But it also it probably doesn't help that as a kid, I actually played through the Sly series backwards. I started with 3, then got 2, and then ended with 1. So, I don't know. 3 just felt a lot more refined. I like the worlds of 3 a lot more. 2, I do enjoy 2. 2 is a good game, but I think that it wasn't as good as 3, which is what I played first. So
I played them in a weird order as well. I played 2, then 1, then 3. So never played them in order. So there you go.
go team.
Woohoo.
Welcome to the Gigas. We don't know how to count to 3.
It's true. It's true. You know what? While you said Sly 2, I will match you, and this is a really great segue of the game. Into a get Jack 2. I fucking hate it. This isn't even I like. I wish I liked it because I hate Jack 2. I genuinely despise it. In terms of overrated games, to me, Jack 2 is Naughty Dog's most overrated video game. It's fucking trash. I hate it. It's so bad. And people who are like, oh, you just don't like the shooting. No, Jack 3's alright. It's Jack 2 that's the problem. I don't know what it is about Jack 2. I absolutely hate it. I don't know if it's the shitty checkpoint system, it's boring level design, the fact that it has levels where the timer is that fucking specific that you just have to avoid the enemies and just bolt it, or else you won't make it there in time and you'll just instantly die. It has a sewer level, which is awful. People said it was hard. I didn't even think it was that hard. I just thought it was really badly designed. And it's just, there's something about 2 where you can just tell it was rushed. That they were like, oh shit, GTA's a thing. Let's make it more like GTA. And in the process, they made a boring world with a boring story. And boring level design, and I'll stand by this. I wish I liked Jack 2 because it's the only Jack game of the main 3 that I don't like, but I just don't understand how people like it, and I feel like it's only a grown-up thing because I played them all for the first time like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and Jack 1 I think is an excellent platformer. I think Jack 1's the best, then Jack 3, which is solid, and it fixes all my problems with Jack 2, and then Jack 2, I just can't stand it, man. There's just something about Jack 2 that it's just really fucking tedious to me, and I can't place it. Just didn't click. So there you go. I'll be brief with Jack 2 because
I don't think any of us have played Jack 2, so
fucking don't.
No,
I have not. I've not played any of the Jack and
played
Daxter
Jack
games
games at all,
actually
actually.
because
Me either.
Even.
Jack and Daxter to me peaks at 1. Like genuinely, 1 is my favorite. I love 1.
Oh, wonderful.
It's great.
Wonderful.
You know, if you like Crash and Spyro, then you'll really like Jack 1.
Cool.
And if you really like GTA, then maybe you'll like Jack 2. But as someone that kind of likes GTA, I didn't like Jack 2, so there you go. Anyway, I've spoken enough. I know it was short, but man, I've got nothing nice to say about it. We're supposed to be like, I wish I liked it more because I actually like it, but not enough. No, I fucking hate Jack 2. Anyway.
This game's fucking shit.
Jack, what's next on your list, Jack?
Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
What a swerve.
I stopped drinking there. I'm like, there's no way.
Disappoint me, Jack.
Throw it.
No.
Just throw it.
No. Its time will come. Its time will come.
I'll have to throw it then.
No, it'll be thrown just later. Anyway, Mario Odyssey, what's up, Jack? Go on. What's wrong with you, you absolute evil bastard? How could you hate Mario Odyssey?
I don't hate it. I think I've talked about Mario Odyssey before anyway on the podcast. It's basically the same stuff. I just felt like the game was just way too monotonous. Well, not monotonous, but the moons were really shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the control of that game. I think it's absolutely incredible what they've done to Mario's movement, because looking at past 3D Mario games, this movement's kind of clunky and shit, let's be honest. Look at Sunshine. It's a glitchy pile of garbage, but I still love Sunshine for some reason. But anyway, Odyssey, just to me, I don't know, something was just missing from it. I don't know what it was. It's hard to grasp. It's just something with me in Odyssey that I can't come to terms with. I think it was just the difficulty wouldn't feel that great, and we've already talked about the difficulty of Mario games. They're never meant to be hard and all this kind of stuff. But I feel like when they gave Mario all these movement options and stuff, and they didn't really like challenge you to use it a lot. I guess it's just like there.
Yeah, for all the movement options you had, there wasn't a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
It's just
I think that's kind of what was missing.
Anything. Like they just hand moons out like candy here and there. So ones that were hard didn't even feel special because you had like 900 other ones that you
Yeah.
just got from sitting on a bench.
It feels like it was built
Don't
for
you disrespect bench friends.
It was. I feel like it was built for speedrunners in a weird way. I feel
It
like
really
it
was.
made for the speedrunning community.
Oh, yeah, they have the Cooper racing and stuff.
Not even that. Just in terms of the way they move, like the movement and everything works, is it's super fluid. But the only people that really use the movement in Odyssey to the max are speedrunners. Like it feels like everything was made for it to be. Which I still stand by. I think Mario Odyssey is a really good speed game. Like, it's really good in terms of a run, in terms of fun. It's one of the best speed games just because of how fucking good the movement is. But yeah, I don't know. I really like Mario Odyssey quite a bit. It's my second favorite 3D Mario.
I liked it too. I like it quite a bit. I just understand what he means.
Yeah.
As far as not being challenged at all.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's overrated.
Like, it's more like a playground where there's nothing to do in it rather than like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do want to play around with it, it's like you're just doing it for the fun.
Yeah.
And definitely wasn't Game of the Year material for 2017. I'm saying
that.
I said this before the show, but you cannot tell me that in a year where The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Persona 5, you're telling me that those 4 games to come out and people are like, yeah, but Mario Odyssey, am I right, guys? Like, no.
3D Mario.
Even Xenoblade 2 came out that year. And I mean, I know it was in December, so it wasn't even qualified for Game Awards, but still.
Still hurts me.
So it didn't get qualified. Don't worry. The Jedi Fallen Order fans will be crying this year because they're not getting noms either, and they got missed out last year. Don't worry, they know.
You know what? It wasn't even the best game of last year either. So.
You have got a point.
I think the Game Awards just hates RPGs because Octopath also got shafted.
I mean, don't worry. Persona 5 didn't win Best Soundtrack, which I still feel is a fucking tragedy, dude. Like, genuinely.
What did it go?
I hope Nier won. I hope it was Nier that won.
If it wasn't Nier, Persona, then it has to have been Nier.
Because if it wasn't Nier, then
otherwise it doesn't even make fathomable sense.
If it wasn't Nier, I'm hunting Jeff down, dude. I'm off to LA, dude, and I'm gonna be like, yo, you better fucking think twice, dude. I'm coming.
Was there an Assassin's Creed game that came out in 2018?
Yeah, Odyssey was 2018.
Okay, because I think Octopath Traveler lost Best OST to that.
Excuse me?
I could be misremembering something super hard, but
Celeste might have won Best OST.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I think that was Red Dead.
No, it was Red Dead. Yeah, that
Red Dead.
Octopath lost it to Red Dead.
To be fair, I've got to say, as someone that has played Red Dead 2, soundtrack's fucking brilliant, but still, is it as good as? I haven't heard Octopath's soundtrack. Is it as good?
Octopath has a really
I don't
good
know.
soundtrack. To be fair,
but there's a special place in my heart for Red Dead 2. There will always be.
There's a special place in my heart for Octopath. Everyone should play Octopath. Is the takeaway from this episode.
Right. Anyway, guys, this is a tangent. We've gone on long enough. Hunter, yes, Odyssey.
No such thing.
Odyssey, very cool, Jeff. Very cool. Get it into the gulag with you, Odyssey. Into the gulag. My favorite word. Hunter, what's next on your list? What's in your basket?
Alright, so next up on mine would be Astral Chain. Not necessarily overrated, but I was eagerly anticipating this game when it came out and when I finally got my hands on it. Because I like platinum stuff. I like wacky action games, and I liked the vibe that it seemed like this game was going for. It's just that the execution was a little off to me. There was something about the gameplay that felt kind of rudimentary, despite the interesting wrinkle of the Legion. Like, I felt like I was doing the same combo every time. I feel like there was more potential there, especially as someone who loves Devil May Cry. Could have blended things like that together really well. But if I wanted to hit something differently, it either had to, push the thing to do the Legion whatever, or switch the weapon instead of, having one weapon be able to do several things, and you
only had 3 different weapons to use.
Yeah,
you had like a baton. You had a baton, a big sword, and I think it was just your gun.
Yeah. The different types of legions didn't really feel like they mattered. Like, it didn't feel all that different to me, aside from, oh, hey, this is weak to this technically. Use this. The mission pacing always felt like it stayed for just a segment or two too long for each one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. The astral plane environment gets pretty repetitive. It's like, yeah. Another story-wise, it was fascinating. The world was interesting. The problem is that with these wacky action games, normally you want a charismatic protagonist to carry you through it so that you kind of care about what's going on. This game has a mime and the annoying sidekick.
Yeah.
Those are your two lead characters. And, yeah, they should have made them one character because the reverse talks anyway.
Yep.
Like, depending on who
You okay, Jack?
No.
That was a
Aw.
big freaking cough, dude.
I apologize.
Yeah.
It's
I still
fine.
had fun with it, though, and it's
Yeah.
got a really good soundtrack, to be fair.
Oh, it really does.
And overall, the vibe is cool. And if they gave it another try, I'd give it another shot. Assuming that it looked like they ironed out the issues I have.
Yeah. One of my big issues with the game is that it just felt like it went on a bit too long, and the final chapters weren't even like a fun challenge. It was just a like super armor, the boss fight, which is not.
It was like this classic imitation God of War boss thing, where
Yeah.
there's a big monster in the middle of the room, and you just kind of gotta smack it and hope it doesn't hit you with its big screw you hammer fist.
It's just it's definitely a better first half than a better second half. But yeah, if they did want to give it another try, I'd be all for it, because I definitely did have fun with the game until it started feeling way too repetitive.
Sorry, my computer's just having a fucking field day.
You're having a riot, dude. You're having a riot. But no, Astral Chain to me was one of those weird games where it came out and people were like, yo, this is really cool. You guys should check it. I'm like, I was so close. I was like this close to buying it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just pick it up later. And then I've never thought about Astral Chain ever again until people bring it up on this podcast. Every time someone brings it up on this podcast, which has been multiple by this point, someone brings it up and I'm like,
this makes two.
Yeah. Someone brings it up, I'm like, oh yeah, that game exists. I forgot about it. Like, it's, to me, it's platinum, and it's like, as much as I wanted to see, to me, it's just like, it's one of Platinum's like most the boring IPs. Like like, more of it's just like kind of like releases that they've released in the past like decade or so. Like Bayonetta, like it's so
Bayonetta, Wonderful 101.
Wonderful 101, fucking fantastic. Even
Even Mad
Scalebound
World.
Scalebound looked incredible.
Even though it never saw the light of day.
Until Phil Spencer took out the knife and killed them and used the money to buy Bethesda. That's how the story goes, children. And don't be a JRPG or Uncle Phil will come for you too. And replace you with Todd Howard. And his shitty engine. I'm sorry, Todd. I love you really.
Todd just sues.
Oh my god.
So, that's about all I had to say about Astral Chain.
Yeah. You basically hit everything I wanted to hit too.
Nice. Does that count as one of yours, Kyle?
I mean, I had it in my pile.
Cool.
I can talk about another game if you want.
How many do you have left? How many does everyone have left? Because I have loads left.
I have 2.
How many do you have, Hunter?
I could talk about at least 2 other things.
Jack?
I think 2.
Right. I'm going to skip to me then, because I literally still have a massive fucking pile of games. So, whose heart do I break first? Do I break Hunter's heart, or do I break Kyle's heart first?
Oh, jeez. What do you got? Bring it on.
Options. You know what? I'm gonna kill Kyle first, then I'll kill Hunter
Alright,
later.
I know what it is. Yep.
Xenoblade Chronicles. It's Xenoblade Chronicles, dude. I wanted to love this video game so fucking much because, as many of you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one of my favorite games on the Switch. It's probably, at this point, one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love that game, and I love the world, and I love the characters, and I love how good the voice acting is. I love how shit the voice acting is. I love how that game is so perfect. Like, literally, you can't describe Xenoblade 2. It just is Xenoblade 2. And I was so excited to be like, oh, and people say Xenoblade 1 is so much better. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait. And I played Xenoblade 1 this year, and you've seen from our first impressions, you've seen from our spoiler casts, it just didn't hit. It just didn't hit for me. And I don't know if it's just the fact that, to me, the combat was far too simple and boring compared to 2. Or I don't know if it was just that I disliked the characters more than I did the 2 characters. I mean, I still love Ryan and Dunban. I still say, and Ricky and Melia, there's still characters that I like, but the characters that I hate in 1 or dislike in 1, I dislike far more than I did in 2. I think also that I think the villains, I don't like the villain that much either. I've been through this before. I think the villain that they were setting up was a lot more interesting than the villain you end up with on the other side. Whereas I feel like everything in 2, when it switches villains and it keeps twisting and turning, I feel like every time I'm like, oh, that's cool, and it adds something to this, and I'm like, I'm into it. Whereas I think it detracted from the experience where you get to the end of the game, you're in like the last 3 or 4 hours, and it's like, surprise fucker, it's new person time, and I'm like, But no,
you ready to kill God?
Yeah, but no, I love the soundtrack and I love the world. And like I say, I loved Ryan and Dunban, and Melly is a great character that, in my opinion, is done a massive disservice in the end, in my opinion. I feel like she's a character that should have been treated a lot better, because she is probably, in terms of non-comedic effects, like Ryan, right? Because Ryan's my favorite character just because of how dumb he is. But it's Dunban and Melia are the 2 actual interesting characters in that game that keep the story going, in my opinion. And just Dunban, I feel like, gets a sense of development and gets his story wrapped up rather nicely. But Melia, in my opinion, is just kind of just gets dropped. She's really important for a set period, and then she's just dropped, and it's a real shame. But no, I want to love it.
That's
and I
what
still
Future
like
Connected
it.
is for.
No, we don't talk about Future Connected.
Smiley face.
In this house, we don't talk about Future Connected because none of us could be asked to finish it.
It's true.
But no,
Was it not that good?
No, it's awful. I think that I really do appreciate it as a game, because without this, Xenoblade 2 wouldn't have happened. And I still think it's a good game. I still think it's a great game, and I love parts of it, but it just doesn't hit. To me, it's overrated compared to the original to 2. I think 2's better in every way, and especially Torna, which I still think is the best Xenoblade game, is Torna by a mile.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. I've said my piece about this game. It's not Game of Thrones, because I do actually really like this game quite a bit, but not as much as 2.
I wish I bought the game, actually, but at the same time, I was kind of put off just because, like, I've seen the combat now, and I was like, I don't know if it's really...
The combat's the combat it's a weird game where it looks like it's, oh, this is going to be effort. Like, this looks like it's it's really effort, when actually it's the exact opposite.
It's the simplest thing ever.
Boring. Like, to me, as someone that was like, oh, the complexity of Xenoblade 2's combat kind of puts me off a bit, but that was engaging to me, whereas 1's is literally, I can just look away. I don't even have to think. But no.
In Xenoblade 2's combat, you're always doing something, whereas in Xenoblade 1, it's more thinking about what you want to do next.
Because you can change the future.
Basically.
Like said, that's a great... Also, just to bring it back to the slide point, I think that the Xenoblade 1 storyline is a more consistent story over the arc, but I think Xenoblade 2's highs are way higher, and even though there are quite a few lows that are a bit that drag on a bit, the highs in Xenoblade 2 are so fucking epic and so huge scale and so cool that, to me, that game will always have a special place in my heart. And the voice acting is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, because
it's not.
It's charming as shit. Like,
Rex is a good character. You guys are just mean.
Rex is a good character. Nier's a good character as well. I love all.
They're all good.
Cast. I love the main cast of Xenoblade 2 to death. I absolutely love them. But yeah, there you go. I said my piece on Xenoblade Chronicles. I still like it a lot, just not as much as 2. And I hope Sugar Connery finally turns all you fucking shitheads around, dude. If anyone can turn them around, it's our boy Sugar.
He's done a lot of good work on his videos recently.
His first episode was brilliant. I just, like I said, I want to go back and experience that game for myself again, so I don't want to watch anymore, because I'm like, oh, I really want to go and visit that game again. Anyway,
one of his more recent ones, at least at the time of recording this episode, he did a full episode just breaking down how the blade system works.
Nice.
And it's one of the most in-depth things on the internet for resources on how it works.
It's good. Because, yeah, the tutorials in Xenoblade 2 are the worst part of Xenoblade 2.
Oh, they're fucking terrible.
Suck. They absolutely
Yeah.
suck.
I thought Definitive was...
No, Xenoblade 2's tutorials absolutely suck. They're awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
To
They
learn
don't
the
explain
game properly,
anything.
you have to either learn yourself and go, oh, this is how this works, or go to YouTube, because the tutorials are like,
Yep.
let me teach you about this thing that doesn't really work the way we're telling you it works, and then we'll never tell you about it again, and you'll forget. Bye.
And there's no way to review tutorials either.
Yeah. Anyway,
Once you go past the
Yikes.
tutorial boxes, they're gone forever.
said
It's
my
humbling.
piece. Jack, what is next on your list?
You
Go on.
sure?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. So first, Smash Ultimate.
Is it actually Smash Ultimate?
Of course it is. I fucking
Right.
hate this.
Okay.
game.
I'm gonna let you talk. It is also on my pile, but this does not represent
Ah.
Smash Ultimate.
I'll be
It
back in a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
actually.
You go for it. Go for it. You go for it. Oh, Hunter's off, dude. Hunter's had enough of this podcast, dude. He's had enough.
It's enough of me complaining about
And you know what?
Ultimate.
I'm even gonna mute his mic for him so that if he does something, he can come back later. But anyway, I'm gonna just say that this doesn't represent Smash Ultimate to me. This represents Smash Brothers as a
Smash Brothers.
franchise. I think Smash as a
Yeah.
franchise is overrated. But anyway, Jack, I'll let you talk. Go for it.
Just watch a few episodes ago where I rant. Now I'm just joking. I actually really wanted to like Ultimate, especially knowing with how fucking huge the cast was going to be.
Mhm.
But obviously, when the game was coming out initially, I knew having so many characters in the game was going to lead to some interesting balancing choices.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of the issues I have with the game is the balancing and how it actually controls and feels. The game feels like, I think it was Fudge that put a really good
Yeah, it
perspective
was.
on how it feels. It was like trying to roll a bike down a fucking brick road. That's how it feels.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Gonna have a sore arse at the end of that.
Legit, fucking playing like an hour of Ultimate, I've got a sore arse.
Oh my arse. Yeah. Anyway.
Everyone knows I'm not huge on Ultimate, but I did want to really like it. I liked it for maybe a few months, but then, nah, it's not for me. The only way that game's going to save itself for me nowadays is if Crash gets in. That's about it.
Yeah. Welcome back, Hunter.
Yep.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is I agree, but mine is not yours from a competitive angle. To me, we did an unpopular gaming opinions episode where I got roasted to shit for saying that Smash is overrated already. We've been through this, but I am gonna say
People
that-
came at you for that?
Oh yeah, some people were fucking. Well, no. If anyone's ever been to my Twitch streams, you'll very much know that my chat is against me at all costs, dude. My
It's
chat,
true,
like,
we are.
No,
like
who,
genuinely.
us?
What? No, I've kind of, to be fair, I've cultivated a community where I've basically cultivated a Twitch chat that takes the piss out of me. But,
Bro, just stop having bad opinions.
yeah, but no.
Then we
I've
won't be
always- I've
mean.
always said Smash is great for what it is, and yeah, with the amount of effort that Sakurai and the team put into Ultimate, did they deserve Fighting Game of the Year for that effort? Yes, they did, because they put like Smash Ultimate
Not with
as a
that
game.
shit online, they didn't.
It's not online. It's not Fighting Game Online of the Year, is it? It's Fighting Game period. And
Fighting games legit should have online. Even the story mode's ass.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in terms of the way the game, like in my opinion, it deserved it compared to the other games. It deserved it with the amount of effort that they put into actually having to put all those characters in a game. Yes, they deserve some fucking credit for that. But my
I could
thing
put
was,
all my effort into baking a cake, Ethan. Right?
yeah,
It could be. I could spend hours and hours and days on this cake.
Yeah.
It could look like the most delicious fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. But see if it tastes like shit. I don't care. I'm not eating that cake if it tastes like shit.
okay. And in contrast, let me do a contrast for you real quick, right? Imagine you're in a cake contest, right? Here's another fucking. We'll do cakes again, right? We'll do fucking cakes again.
Go back to
Delightful.
cake.
Right? So you're in a cake contest, and one person makes one nice cake, dude, like a nice, just a decent cake, right? And then Sakurai comes to the baking contest and makes 70 smaller cakes that taste nice, maybe not as nice as that one cake, but makes a fucking array of bright colours and beautiful art and presentation and all of that, that's still a fucking achievement. Just because it doesn't taste as good doesn't mean that you can't respect and look at it and go, yeah, you've put your fucking work into it. In my opinion, all of those other fighting games that were nominated for Fighting Game of the Year shouldn't have won with the effort that they put into Ultimate. Whether you disagree with how it works on the behind the scenes.
What was the one again, actually? Was it not Jump Force?
Yeah, it was
Jump Force was on there.
that honestly could have won. I'm going to give you that point at least.
But no, it's one of those things. But anyway, back to Smash in general. For me, the thing with Smash, it's great what it is. It's a fun party game. It's a fun party fighting game.
Yeah.
I respect it. People make Smash as too big of a fucking deal than it actually is. It's not actually as like in terms of a game. Other than the character roster, there's nothing big about the design of Smash. There is genuinely nothing big about other than the character roster and the balancing. In terms of like map design and all the complex systems behind it, compared to it, people fucking praise it and like praise Melee, praise Ultimate or whatever, criticize Ultimate, criticize 4 way too fucking much for what it is. It's just fine. It's a great game, but people acted like it's the second coming of Christ. Like it's Game of the Year. Smash isn't Game of the Year to me. Smash is Smash. Like it's in its own thing to me. I think it's overrated. Are they still great? Yeah, for what they are, but people make it out. I've said it before. I think the trailers are more fucking hype than the actual fucking video game. People care more about the trailers than the video game. But no, I like Smash, but it's just overrated in my opinion. There you go. I've said, I need to shut up. Hunter, please tell me that your next game I know nothing about, so I can just listen eagerly instead of going,
I've got a pretty confident statement that you know nothing about modern Mortal Kombat. So.
Oh, thank fuck, dude. Oh, thank fuck, I can go and have a nap.
Yeah. All right, so Mortal Kombat from 9 through 11, I have just, over the years, my interest in this series has just waned. I kind of got into 9, played the story mode. It set itself up to be okay, and then it kind of dropped the ball at the end, and I guess I just kind of lost interest after that. Like, when 10 came out, I was like, oh, that's cool, and didn't really care, aside from when my friends got it, and we played a couple of games against each other, and the same thing happened in 11, and it's a shame, because I dumped several hours as a child into Deadly Alliance and Deception, and even some into Armageddon, and I really enjoy that series. It's not the greatest by any stretch of the imagination, but I liked just the vibe it had, and some of the characters had real cool like arcs in it, so on and so forth. But these days, I don't know. I don't care so much.
And they still get like a lot of love as well. That's the thing, right? It's not like people are still into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think with each passing iteration, it seems to do better. So, I mean, fair enough to that. I don't know.
I feel
maybe it's the fact that it's like 11 games, and I'm finally getting tired of it.
Yeah, that'll do it to you, dude. Fatigue will do it.
Yeah.
It's like me with open world games. I've played enough. I'm like, I'm out, boys. I'll play Horizon. I'll play Breath of the Wild 2. I'm out. See you next time, kids. It's good. It's been real. It's been real. But no, I can see it. Short and sweet, Hunter. I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
That's me.
If everyone was as short and as sweet as you, Hunter, we wouldn't have 1.5 podcasts. We would have a nice sleep schedule. But, you know, we're not about that.
Yeah.
Kyle, what's your next pick?
Well, I hope you're not tired of open world games. Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Right, that's good. We've now just pissed off 2/3 of the Xenoblade Chronicles community. That's good, boys. We've got them. We've got them in the corner.
And we both like 2, so we can't piss off the last third.
Hey, we've solidified our 1/3 of the Xenoblade audience, dude, and we've banished the other 2/3 because they hate us now.
I mean, I like Xenoblade 1 and 2, but whatever.
Anyway.
So, Xenoblade X is different from Xenoblade 1 and 2 in a sense that it's more sci-fi oriented. Basically, how the game starts is that Earth gets destroyed and they basically colonize on a new planet. I think it's called Mira. I didn't do any research before this episode. I meant to, and then I got distracted by a lot of other stuff. But anyways.
It's not a review, Kyle. We don't need to be that accurate.
I like to at least sound like I know what I'm talking about
Guys,
before I
play
go
the game.
bashing
Trust
something.
me, bro. Trust me. Bro. Source, trust me. I
Trust
played it.
me. But yeah, this game, it's a lot more focused on combat and exploration rather than having a good story behind it like Xenoblade 1 and 2 do, which in a JRPG, we talked about this earlier, you need a good main story to keep you wanting to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I got like
That's true.
12 chapters into this game. I couldn't tell you who the main villain is. Mind you, that's like 30, 40 hours of gameplay. And I couldn't tell you what
Oh my God.
the goal of anything is.
Sounds accurate.
Also, this giant robot on the box, you get that like 24 hours into the game.
What are they called again?
Skells.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of
Skills.
they're basically just meant to be like a throwback to how the gears were in Xenogears, because Tetsuya Takahashi can't get Xenogears back from Square Enix.
Mm.
And Squeenix refuses to do anything with that besides put them in their mobile game. Because that's how Square Enix be sometimes.
We all
It's not
love
Final
Square
Fantasy
Enix.
or Kingdom Hearts, so they don't care about it.
Exactly. Even though I do. Please give us another Gears. But yeah, this is just a game. This is a game that's really easy to get lost in the world. There's 5 different regions you can explore. The map, it's also been data mined. The map in this game is bigger than the map in Breath of the Wild. Like, it's insane how big this place is. And exploring it's a pain in the ass until you get your flying robot.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, getting the robot to fly is a separate thing from getting the robot in general.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh no, it's like the Zelda games that make you power up the Master Sword after you get it.
Skyward Sword.
I hate that.
Sorry,
Wind
you're
Waker.
letting
Well,
us-
you don't have the Master Sword yet when you get that.
Fair enough. Anyways,
Doesn't make it.
this game's really fucking pretty, though. This game is absolutely gorgeous.
It's one of the last remaining soldiers on the Wii U. We salute
It's
you.
true. It is true.
Fight the good fight. Maybe one day you'll be ported. Probably not, because every time that Monolith asks that, they say it's too much effort.
It's too big to be ported, I'm pretty sure.
Seriously.
It'd take
It's
way
pretty
too much.
big. Yeah, it
take
takes
way too much
time.
effort
I
to
don't think it'd
port,
be,
yeah.
I don't know if they think it's worth it, because X is like the sub. It's weird because
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles X is a sub franchise in a way where they're not necessarily as linked as 1 and 2 are. So,
And yet they still are because of Xenoblade 2's DLC.
Yeah,
It's
but then
weird.
2's DLC is like, maybe not. Who knows? It's just
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where it's like they're there. Is it canon or not? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Who knows? Not
Who
me.
knows?
I haven't played this game.
Don't worry, dude. I can't play this game anymore. For some reason, my Wii U doesn't read discs anymore.
Oh,
So
big rip. Time to throw it. Oh,
it's
no.
useless.
bye. Well,
But at least it's a pretty box art.
and that's all that really matters, right? Time to we killed Kyle a bit.
Time to piss off Hunter.
Time to piss off Hunter, dude. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, dude. Nier Automata.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. Oh, well, you know.
Nier Automata, I want to love this video game so badly, but just something, and don't say, oh, you didn't finish it. Yes, I fucking finished it. I got endings A, B, C,
You did,
D,
that's
and D.
true.
Leave me alone. I got the endings. But I wanted to love Automata so much. And I just come off P5, and I was like, oh, people are fucking buzzing about P5. And then the next game people were buzzing about, Nier Automata. And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm getting in. This is it. Back-to-back fucking bangers. And I played it, and all I felt was depression. And I know this
Well,
game...
I mean,
I know,
that's what
yeah.
the game tries to do.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but it's one of those weird things where this game is very much like it's Melancholy the video game. Like you're supposed to feel fucking like nothing throughout the entire thing. When I say nothing, you just feel empty, right? You're supposed to feel empty throughout all of it, and then it gives you glimmers of hope, and it's like no, back to nothing.
Yeah, just snuffs them out.
Yeah, and then snuffs it out.
Yeah.
And it really is like if you have depression or something, like, and I mean severe depression, right? Like I for some reason I'm an addict, dude. I'm like, yo, I'm depressed, but I also love depressing shit. Like I'm just like, yeah, give me that. Make me feel sad, dude. I dare you. But if you're like, yo, if a sad film like makes you feel really bad or whatever, don't play this game because you'll feel fucking miserable. Like you'll honestly like the soundtrack alone is so haunting of a soundtrack. It's like it's a brilliant soundtrack, but my god,
Ethereal is my favorite word to describe that soundtrack. It is amazing.
It's amazing, but it makes you feel horrible at the same time, dude.
Capacity.
Yeah, and it makes you feel creepy, like creeped out, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, and it's really good. But no, I liked it a lot, but I just didn't click. It didn't click when people like best game ever made, like their favorite game of all time, or they're like the endings really spoke to me. I'm like, it's pretty great, but it just doesn't click.
I mean, I get it, but yeah.
I wish it clicked more because I love the setting and I love the characters. I think 2B and 9S are great characters, and I think they're done really well.
Solid. I like them quite a bit.
The story is so fucking batshit crazy that like people that say that like Kojima is a crazy bastard need to go and play this game because fucking.
I mean, it feels comparable.
Dude?
It's just different.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Yoko Taro.
Yoko Taro is a fucking mental person, dude. Like, fucking crazy human being. Because he's just like, yo, dude, fucking wacky as shit, dude. Let's go on a wacky depression run, dude. Let's get going. Yo, look, there's some robots. Why has this guy got a weird head? I don't know. Oh, look, robots. Let's watch them die and feel sad real quick. Cool, moving on.
Every side quest ends with the quest giver just killing itself.
Yeah, literally, the amount of genuinely the amount of times that a side quest ended with someone killing themselves. I was like, okay, dude, okay, like. Thank you.
There was that
one
quest
task.
that was like, oh, I'm trying to go to space. Give me resources. That actually turned out like he didn't kill himself at the end and he accomplished his goal. I was like, oh man, good for you, dude.
Aw, yay.
The amount of times it was like, oh, can you go there?
Yeah.
Can you go and do something for me? And by the time you come back, they'd kill themselves. And I was like, again?
Yeah.
God damn it. Like, yeah. But no, very depressing game.
No one's happy in this world.
Yeah, very good game, and I feel like it's a game that everyone should play because you might like it more than me. And it's on that backlog of I want to go back and play this when I'm in a better mindset and just live in it and see if I get it to click again. Because I feel like after playing P5, this was not the game that I was looking for, and I just blasted through it and I was like, I liked it, but not as much as everyone else. But no, I do. It's a good game. And I hope that I like it more in the future when I eventually replay it. But no, Nier Automata. Automata. I don't know how to fucking say the name. I still don't know.
Automata is how I say it.
I always say Automata.
Yeah.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
2 beefs for Smash or whatever shit people say, you know. Whatever.
I wouldn't be opposed.
I mean, 2B was cool in Soul Calibur 6. She has a fun play style.
More likely than fucking Sora, dude. So hey, if you
womp.
To be honest, 2B most likely Squeenix rep. Not even joking. Most likely Squeenix rep.
Well, yeah, because Sora needs Disney's approval.
Yep, and Gino's just not happening. And I stand on this hill. We stand on the hill.
I don't think Gino's happening either, but I will do a backflip if he does get in.
You and the 5 other people that want him in, dude, will all be backflipping.
Me and everyone else who's played
Those
Mario
5
RPG.
Must talk a lot.
It's like Twitter,
Yeah.
dude. It's
Because
one of
I hear about it all
bubbles,
the time.
Dude. Yeah, it's like one of those bubbles, dude. You know, like on Twitter when everyone's like, oh, this game, cancel this game. Everyone cancel the pre-orders. And then the game's like the best-selling game in the franchise just because everyone's in an echo chamber and they're like, the same 10 people going, cancel the pre-order, cancel the... Like, yeah. But no, there we go.
Ooh.
Hey, does everyone else have one left then?
Yep.
Yeah, I got one left. I can...
Or do you have none left yet?
Wii Sport. No, I'm not.
How many do you have left, Jack?
I have nothing on my head right now.
Nothing. Cool. Then I'll just do a real. What?
I could.
Could you?
We've been talking mostly about recent games. And
go for it. You've got an oldie, dude. Go for it. I've got an oldie.
I was going to say Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat it up.
Someone's gonna be eventually.
Hey, Jack, I'm about to say this is a bad example because this is my favorite of the 3D Zeldas, but I just want to put a space here for me of 3D Zelda. I've got Wind Waker. This is my favorite 3D Zelda, but 3D Zelda as a gameplay loop is my pick. But go for Ocarina, and then you'll basically say everything I have to say.
Excuse me?
Go for it, dude. You just say what you hate about Ocarina, dude, and then I'll tell you why I also dislike the gameplay loop of all the Zelda.
To Mario 64 in a way. I think it was just really dated and shit.
Mm.
Like on the 64, it didn't really do that well. I don't know why I can look past Majora's Mask though, but Ocarina of Time to me just felt, I don't know, bored shit out of me. Hyrule Field's just a big fucking empty blank pile of shit. People go on about like, oh, but it's so epic, you know, you're going through a whole fucking field of grass while it's going and all this patience.
Yeah,
I mean, playing it as a kid really did something for me there. So
Termina Field had a better overworld theme. Don't at me.
I agree with you, actually. I actually agree with you.
yeah.
But
suits the vibe.
I never really went that far in with Ocarina of Time. Like I got to Adult Link and that, and then after a while I was just kind of like, nah. It's just it feels clunky, and the story didn't really pull me in or anything. Just nah. There's just something missing with Ocarina of Time.
I feel it. I feel the same
Majora's
way.
Mask has the charm.
Yeah.
Like the whole story and like the whole side quests and stuff. I'm sure Ocarina has some good side quests and all that.
Yeah, Majora I haven't
Majora's
played because I'm still
Majora's
waiting
is a
for
much
a
different story.
good version, dude. I'm still waiting. I'm holding out hope that they remake it
Don't buy
again
that 3DS
and
version.
not on 3DS.
Yeah, don't buy that. Don't buy that.
But no, my problem with 3D Zelda as a whole is I think 3D Zelda specifically to me is overrated. It's just something about the gameplay loop to me just doesn't click. And I liked Wind Waker because I liked the characters and the design of the world. But story to me just kind of generic. The dungeon design to me, I'm like, it's fine. But there's something about the Zelda loop, and I mean specifically 3D Zelda, because
is this just like how linear the games used to be?
Not even how linear the games are. It's
when
just,
you say 3D, are you excluding Breath of the Wild from this?
Yes, Breath of the Wild I do not count as 3D Zelda. I count Breath of the Wild as new Zelda, whatever Zelda
4D.
Is now, right? Yeah, 5D Zelda, 5D.
Yeah.
5D Zelda.
No, what 3D Zeldas? I'm counting Ocarina, Majora, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. Those are the ones that I count because I like the little bits that I've played of 2D Zelda, which is mainly I played a bit of the original and I played a Link Between Worlds. The 2 bits that I played of that I really liked. I just haven't gone back to play them, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. There's something about 3D Zelda that just doesn't click to me. That I don't see it. The stories, at least in Ocarina and in Wind Waker, of the bits that I played, I played the whole of Wind Waker. And even the little bit of Twilight Princess I played just doesn't click. Story's not interesting to me. Just feels a bit generic, like just being like the hero, which is why I kind of liked Breath of the Wild, because it was like, oh, this is a world where everyone's fucked up. Like you fucking lost, bitch. Like you're like now go pick up the pieces and explore a world and not be left into these linear realms that are not interesting to me. But no, there's something about 3D Zelda to me that I respect it for what it's done for RPGs in general, but to me, they're real. Like I feel like it's one of those games where nostalgia is way overplayed with how good these games are. I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be. Yeah. I think that if it wasn't Nintendo, if you had released the same game and swapped the characters out and not mentioned that it was made by Nintendo and not called Legend of Zelda, it would get a completely different score. I don't think these games would. I feel like it's one of those things where, a bit like Mario games in a way, where Nintendo has this kind of magic thing that they seem to do where it's like, oh, a Nintendo game gets an automatic 1 or 2 points extra than if it was a non-Nintendo game because my childhood. And
I can definitely see a trend in that, so yeah, I agree with you.
It's just one of those things where I think they're good games and I respect them, but I don't think they're as good as everyone makes them out to be. When people say, oh, the 3D Zelda series is one of the best series of games ever made, I'm like, no. No.
Like, I love Wind Waker to pieces and all that, but I don't think I would say it's my favorite game of all time anymore, like I used to.
Favorite game of all time to me is always changing, because with the game
Yeah.
industry, bigger and better things are always coming, right? Like, to me, it's like, if I find a game and like, oh yeah, this is now my favorite thing because like just the way that they've done it. But usually it's like I've never cemented like, oh, this game is my favorite game and it will be forever, because it's like chances are a better game's gonna come around eventually that I'll love.
Now try telling that to people that love Ocarina of Time.
I can't, dude, and it's probably
You
the
can't.
Zelda community doesn't help with my like just feeling towards
Yeah,
Zelda.
you know, the people who talk about The Legend of Zelda on the internet aren't exactly the nicest people around.
Yeah.
I love the 3D Zelda games for the most part, but, liking Skyward Sword the most before Breath of the Wild is a frowned upon opinion.
Mm.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my favorite before Breath of the Wild.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like the other ones, I like Ocarina and Majora and Wind Waker all comparably, just in different ways. And Twilight Princess, its beginning really keeps me from playing it more.
Yeah. Me too.
It's just one of those franchises where it's like, I respect it and I like the bits that I've played, but to me, it's not as good as people make it out to be, in my
Yo, but can we
opinion.
talk about how fucking good 2D Zelda is? Like,
2D Zelda is really good. 2D Zelda is really fucking good, dude. Where's Zelda Maker, dude? Where the fuck is Zelda Maker, Nintendo? I don't care. Figure it out.
It's in Link's Awakening
out.
DX.
It's a little extra mode and Link's
Yeah, but I mean
Awakening.
full. I mean proper. I mean figure it the fuck out, Nintendo, because that shit'd be fire. Be great. Absolutely love it. Anyway, there you go. Hunter. We've pissed off enough
Alrighty,
people
so-
now, so
Oh, boy.
I hope you've
Alrighty,
got a light
so-
blow.
Oh, we're gonna keep going.
I hope you've got a light blow.
Yeah. So this is less a shot at the series in general. It's just more of I wish I liked this more. The Dark Souls and Bloodborne games would be so up my alley
We're
if I could
dead.
just play them for more than an hour.
Yeah.
Like I just I just can't bring myself. Every time I've tried, I haven't been able to bring myself to do it. And Demon Souls looks like maybe I'm going. to
Demon
fall
Souls
for it
to me is
again.
the one where I'm like, Demon Souls to me is the perfect Souls game to start with, in my opinion, because one, this remake looks really nice, which I'm sorry, most From Software games do not look good. They always look like they came out 3 years before they actually came out and run like ass. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like I respect them, but when people say, "Oh, Bloodborne, one of the best looking games on PS4," I'm like, yes, if you're fucking 50 meters away, and no, it just
You
it
squint
does,
a little
you
bit.
Squint, dude. Then maybe, but artistically they look great, but just like
Yeah, they've all got a really cool style to them that I think
graphically,
really
they always
speaks to
kind
me
of
as
look
far
a
as
bit. Yeah.
and the lore that I've had my friend tell me is all very fascinating. And if I could just, get over the beginning stretch of the game, I'm sure I would love it.
Which I think
Because,
Demon
like,
Souls is the one to do that because it is the first game in the series, right? So
like Bloodborne's got like, spiky architecture and creepy monsters and, gothic adventure basically, and that's right up my alley.
That's your aesthetic.
Yeah,
Wow.
basically.
But no, I agree with the Souls games. It's one. I'm gonna try with Demon Souls when it goes cheaper because I'm not paying £70 PlayStation. That's not happening. But it's definitely Demon Souls is the one that I'm gonna fully try. And I mean, I could try Bloodborne again on the PS Plus collection, but am I going to when there's the new shiny one instead? Probably not. Especially because Bloodborne runs like ass, and Demon Souls has already confirmed that the performance.
That was
running
another
at
thing with
60.
Bloodborne. I'm not normally one to complain about load times because normally I don't care. I'm not I'm not a junkie about, oh man, I have to be doing something every couple of seconds. But Bloodborne, because I was dying so much, the fact that the loads seemed to take so long when I was playing it did kind of like, oh man, I've been watching this screen as much as I've actually been doing something.
Yeah. I don't know. That game, yeah, usually I'm like, hey, when people are like, ooh, 30 FPS, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with a good 30 FPS, dude. If it's locked 30 and it's got a good motion blur or whatever, who cares? It runs well. Bloodborne, no. It just doesn't run. It just doesn't. It just drops. It chugs. It tries. It's like it's trying to grasp for life, and it's just like, nah, it just doesn't. And I hope there's been rumors for a while that Bloodborne's going to get second life in a way, like they're going to redo it. Or at least port it to PS5 and PC, and I hope it's true, because that game could use some optimization. But no, I can see why. It's one of those where I'm like, I want to get into it eventually, but I'm just not motivated.
Like, if these random spells of games that aren't coming out keep happening, maybe I'll, like, well and truly try to dive into one of them, if I haven't already, like, given Demon Souls a fair shake.
Very cool. Kyle, what is your, I assume, final one?
Well, we've pissed off a lot of people today, folks. Let's get one more in.
Oh no.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, I saw it coming
I'll
by
wager
the
you a Kingdom Hearts 3 and we'll raise you to a Kingdom Hearts 2. So you can kill some fans, and then I will literally piss off the most hardcore Kingdom Hearts community. Go for it.
Oh my god. Okay, well...
This is
That was
So-
my final one, so we'll 1-2 punch it, dude. We'll 1-2
Nice. Go team. 3-2-1 punch.
punch. Yeah, dude, exactly.
Anyways, Kingdom Hearts 3 was a game that I really, really tried not to get hyped for as it was being released, but just the closer and closer it got to release date, the more and more excited I got for it. I don't consider myself to be like a hardcore Kingdom Hearts fan.
Neither did I, and I was buzzing, dude.
I only actually truly enjoy 3 of the games in the franchise. 1, 2, and Chain of Memories.
Same, dude. Same. Well, no, for me, I like 1, 2, and 3. They're my 3 that I like. But no,
I do enjoy half of this video game, and it's the not Disney half of this game. Because...
August, go for it.
So, in every Disney world, you fight some shitty boss at some point. Any, like, giant enemy heartless boss is terribly designed.
Yeah, shoutouts to Toy Story and Frozen, dude. Great boss.
Yo, shoutouts to
basically the same criticisms we had for Astral Chain's bosses earlier.
Yeah.
You know, big old...
It commits the cardinal sin of a hacky slashy, which is when you attack, they don't stagger at all until a certain point. You have to hit them basically you have to hit them enough times for them to stagger. You don't know how many times you have to hit. There's no meter that tells you how close they are to staggering. Even Final Fantasy 13 did that right with their stagger bar, and Final Fantasy 13 was, mediocre.
Has a bevy of issues in the gameplay department.
Yeah, but the fact that they got something as simple as that right, like, there's a lot of things in this game that I do like. I like multiple Keyblades at a time. I like the different forms that the Keyblades have, being kind of like a substitute for drive forms. But in tandem with that, I don't like the randomness it has, where if you do a magic combo, so like fire, thunder, blizzard, there's a chance you'll get random grand magic given to you, and sometimes you'll just get nothing. So it's a really just not conducive to good gameplay and good strategizing in combat, because you can't plan around randomness.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the super bosses they put in this game post-launch DLC, those are 13 of the best bosses I've ever fought. And Luxord was also there. Luxord sucks. That fight's not fun.
My homie Luxord.
Luxord sucks in every game he's put in. I do really enjoy fighting humanoid bosses. Any like humanoid boss just feels good to fight, because they fight like how Kingdom Hearts 2 bosses work, where they have a revenge value, and after a certain amount of hits they'll retaliate. You'll hit a forced revenge, so you can't just combo them forever. And they also don't have that bullshit stagger mechanic that the giant heartless bosses have.
Hi.
As for like the open world aspect of the game, yeah, it's there, but outside of the pirate world, the Pirates of the Caribbean world, where you get to sail around and explore the different islands, there's nothing in the worlds. it's like, yeah, you can run around and find a
funny.
treasure chest,
That's
but
a funny thing to say when I can't wait to discuss Kingdom
I
Hearts
mean, just
2 in a second.
overall, as far as the world design goes, I still liked it the most out of any of the other ones.
The world design in Kingdom Hearts 3, in my opinion, is the
felt
best in the
better
series.
to just be around, in my opinion. Like
They feel like worlds, not corridors.
there wasn't much to do, but it still felt more like a whole rather than just a slice of a hallway.
Even if it's
I
linear.
I still think Kingdom Hearts 1 did open world the best because there was a bunch of stuff to do. There was a bunch of secrets you can uncover around like every corner. In this game, there's like take San Francisco for example. It's a big open city with like no people around at all. So it doesn't do a good job making the world feel alive.
Yeah, it doesn't. I can see that, but in my opinion, they're still the best worlds in the series by a long shot. Like, it's not even close. Like, even Frozen, which I fucking despise as a world. In terms
Yeah,
of, like,
Frozen was fucking terrible.
In terms of, like, an actual, like... In terms of the actual vibe that the world gives up. Yeah, at least from the actual, like, environmental vibe, it actually feels like a world. Whereas in Kingdom Hearts 1, they still feel like it, but they feel segmented. Kingdom Hearts 2 is and I'll say this is the reason I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is overrated. It's because yes, the combat is the best combat in the series. Yes, the bosses are the best bosses in the series. But from a story point of view, and from, in my opinion, a world design point of view, fucking kill me. Like, genuinely. The worlds, Kingdom Hearts 2 has the worst worlds in the fucking franchise. I think Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop have fucking better worlds than 2 did. They're fucking tragic. Beast's Castle is literally fucking, yo guys, do you like rectangles, dude? Fucking rectangular corridors the whole fucking time. We made one room, which was the fucking the dining room. That looks nice, but we spent all of our time on it, so now you're just getting rectangles. Hope you like rectangles. All the worlds in 2 are fucking shit. And as someone that comes to Kingdom Hearts, especially in the first couple of games when I was getting into Kingdom Hearts, who went there for the Disney and not necessarily, oh, I'm here for a hack and slash. I'm like, yeah, the hack and slash is nice and all, but I came here for a stupid story about Disney characters. And when you get shitty worlds like Mulan and fucking the Beast, fucking Beauty and the Beast, and oh god, don't get me started, the Pirates world, don't get me started on all these shitty worlds. It's just, I loved the combat. And I loved the world, like, the only good worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2 are the original worlds. Hollow Bastion, I like Hollow Bastion. Hollow Bastion tends to be good.
Why it wasn't in 3, I'll never know.
No, neither will I. But it's like, there's so much bad. Like, all the Disney ones are fucking off. Tron, don't get me started on fucking Tron. Off me. Like, honestly, off me. God, yeah. Worst world. Even in Dream Drop, when it's the awful version of Tron, and everyone looks weird. At least that world felt better than actual, like, Kingdom Hearts 2 Tron. The world's are my problem.
You didn't like Sora interacting with Kurt Russell?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. It's creepy as shit. But no, that's my main reason. And then also, people complain about KH3's story, and I say, I respect that you don't like Kingdom Hearts 3's story, but it's not necessarily Kingdom Hearts 3's fault because it's 2's fucking fault that we're in this mess.
The series as a whole.
Yeah.
Really
3 had to tie up what fucking 2 started. Dude, like, it's like 2 is the fucking start of the train wreck and fucking 3 is the crash, dude. Like, just because 3 is like, oh no, I'm like, 2 fucking started this bullshit. And to be honest, other than the Roxas side story, which I think is really well done when you look at it as a whole, and the ending cutscene, which I still stand by, it has the best ending of a Kingdom Hearts game, by far. It's the only happy ending of a Kingdom Hearts game.
Mm-hmm.
That cutscene still fucking makes me cry, dude. I fucking love that cutscene. It genuinely did. Like, I genuinely, like, a single tear, dude. Like, genuinely. The fucking your home thing, genuinely, I'm like, oh my fucking god, I'm gonna have a Disney cry right now, dude. Like, kill me. But the endings are great, but honestly, the story, like, people who criticize Kingdom Hearts 3 story are like, obviously you've not seen where this has been going, because 2, Dream Drop, Birth by Sleep, and 3 have equally the same amount of story. It's shit. It's shit quality. But to me, 2 is overrated because the combat is fucking perfect. But as someone that goes to video games, not like goes to Kingdom Hearts not just for fucking combat, there's nothing there for me. There's no fucking juicy like, oh, I feel like I'm in Mulan. No, I feel like I'm in a fucking corridor that has a fucking Chinese ornament on it. Cool, I'm in Mulan world, guys. Just that's my problem with Kingdom Hearts. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, I think tried too hard in terms of actually making you feel like you're in the world. So it feels extremely like it feels linear. And the bosses kind of suffered because they tried more on the actual like Disneyfication of the worlds that are there, I feel.
Mhm.
But Kingdom Hearts 2 is the opposite, where the gameplay's fun in the worlds that are there, but the worlds are not fun to explore. And from a casual perspective, I'd rather have the former of the worlds that look like where I want to be from a casual perspective than a gameplay. Gameplay's super fucking important, but as a casual fucking schmuck like me, Kingdom Hearts 3's combat was perfectly fine enough to get me through the fucking game and still go, ooh, shiny. I like Olympus. Finally, we actually see what Olympus looks like. Cool. Like stuff like that. But it's one of those things
I'm so glad I have nothing to say on these games.
Kingdom Hearts is one of I've said this before. And
It's just a headache,
Don't worry about it,
honestly.
Jack.
I've said it
I
before.
remember saying I wanted to get into Kingdom Hearts. But
I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Like
You'll never please anyone. You'll never please everyone with Kingdom Hearts. Like genuinely.
Yeah.
There's people like me who love what they did with 3 in terms of world design and actual doing the Disney worlds. They did them right. For the most part, we don't talk about Frozen, but the rest of them, fucking Tangled. If you had told me that my favorite world out of Kingdom Hearts 3 would have been Tangled going into it, I'd be like, fuck off, is it? But it is. I love Tangled. It's great.
That was my favorite world too.
Yeah,
it's a really good starting world.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But
Yeah.
no, it's like, but yeah, except for like that's my thing. Like people who want Kingdom Hearts 2, like because they want the combat to be crisp and they want the bosses to be great. They're not gonna like that. Oh no, they're spending too much time on the worlds and the fucking the flashiness of it. Whereas the people that want the worlds and the flashiness and the Disney shit are like, oh, this DLC shit because there's nothing here for me. Like it's the never-ending cycle of.
The frustrating thing is that if you just took the best parts of both of 2 and 3, it'd be a really, really good game.
Oh yeah, it would be.
Regardless of whatever dumb story they attach to it, that would.
It'd be the best
good.
game in the series.
Not even close. It's why,
without a doubt.
That's why to me there is no best Kingdom Hearts game because each of them fuck up in different ways. One fucks up in fucking clunky ass gameplay. 2 fucks up in world building and story, and then 3 fucks up in combat. Like that's genuinely like.
Yeah.
It's just each of the main installments are equally fucking dumb. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's great. Thank you.
By Melody of Memories when it comes out.
Oh, I fucking are. Even I'm not. As someone that loves rhythm games, I'm like, bitch, please. I've got to buy a PS4, PS5 even. I've got to buy a PS5. You think I'm gonna pay? You think I'm gonna pay 50 quid to play fucking rhythm games? No, I'll wait. Yeah, it's full price, dude. It's full price. I'll just wait for it to drop down in price like every other Kingdom Hearts game. I'll just wait. I'll be like,
it'll only take like 2 months.
Yeah,
exactly. Might as well wait, right? Because when we're in that dry spell, Hunter, of February, it'll be like 25 quid already, and I'll be like, yeah, rhythm time, baby, and then we'll be all happy, and that's that. Kingdom Hearts 2 was my last one, so there we go.
Yeah,
we're good. We've shat on every community possible, so thank you for all this.
Except somehow we dodged Pokemon.
Yeah, I was going to put Pokemon to it, but I didn't.
Here's my I don't like Pokemon enough to even be like, oh, I was excited for this Pokemon game, and then it really disappointed me.
This is the thing. I could have put Gen 8, but I didn't care enough.
You didn't buy Gen 8. That's
you can't even say you were disappointed by Gen 8. You haven't even fucking played it. That's like me going in and goes, oh, guys, fucking FIFA 21's absolute dog shit, guys. Trust me.
I mean, I was disappointed by Gen 8, but I had no expectations for it. I knew it was going to be shit going in. So
Pokemon shit in general, you're all blind. And that's our show.
That's all, folks.
And that's all, folks. But yeah, this has been our games that we think are overrated episode of HGO. Thank you for all the dislikes. We really do appreciate it. Remember, you can find us every week at Mondays at 5
Let us know
p.m.
how shit our opinions are.
UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode of HGO. We're on podcast services everywhere. Go to Linktree/Hot Gamers Only to find all the podcast links, or go to bit.ly/thegigas to find the video versions of the podcast each and every week. if you like what we do, but you don't want to listen to the whole show, and frankly, sometimes I don't blame you, head on over to bit.ly slash HGO clips and you can get the best.
Hour and 50 minute by the time we wrap up.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm literally not sleeping tonight.
Woo!
You can head on over to bit.ly slash HGO clips and head to the HGO highlights channel where we post the best, what we think are the best clips from the show. So you can catch up on all that good stuff. Remember, next week, big boy week, we have got Crash coming out, which means Crash streams all on Twitch channels. It means that we've got a Crash first impressions out next Monday. It means that we'll probably have a Crash review out at some point in the week. And it probably also means we'll have a Crash spoiler cast out on Friday. So be sure to be subscribed, hit that notification bell, do whatever the fuck you have to do on YouTube and podcast services these days to get it in your feed, because you won't want to miss it. The only opinions you need about Crash, because what's fucking Jonathan Dornbush from IGN gonna know about it, eh? What's he gonna know? He knows
What's Canada guy gonna know?
What's Canadian? Well, yeah, what's Canada guy Yo gonna do, dude? That's his
Canada guy Yo.
I know it's Canadian guy A. Don't fucking Yo, Canada guy Yo, dude, my favorite, dude. Wumpa Patrick, all my favorite YouTubers.
Wumpa Patrick, is that an actual person? That's
no,
great.
it's Wumpa Lewis.
Oh.
I'm just shitting on everyone. I don't.
And also Cadicarus.
Yeah, just so you know, I like Jonathan Dornbush from IGN.
Yeah.
I don't. I haven't really watched much of Canadian Guy or Wumpa Lewis, but I'm sure they're swell people. And
yeah, they
are. Whoever else we offended. Grow on, you know. Who cares about us? What do we say? We're just four stupid guys on the internet. But yeah,
we don't have fans.
Yeah, exactly. Crash, a load of Crash next week. Look forward to it. But with that, Hunter, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/ReaperHunter23, and also this week, hopefully, I'll have a Hades review up on this channel.
Hey, dude, I've still got to finish the Tell Me Why one. I've been busy with sorting out HDO highlights, so it kind of been put off, dude.
I wrote the intro earlier after I beat the game.
Oh, fuck off! So that means he's already hit. That means he's doing better than me. Great, right?
Ha.
We might have 2 reviews this week. We'll try. Maybe. I've got to get the HDO highlights done. Yeah, we'll see what can happen. Cal, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KDavisSRL. And you can also find me on Twitter, same handle at KDavisSRL. And eventually I'll have a review up for 51 Clubhouse games whenever I can get around to recording vocals.
We've made this point multiple times. If you just want to send the fucking script, me or Hunter will just go, Clubhouse Games is really good. And there you go, we'll record it just like that. Jack, where can people find you?
Twitter.com/Jacobine or twitch.tv/Jacobine.
Yeah, that's it. Really positive, dude. And you can find me, as always, at Chaotic Ether on Twitter and Twitch. But yeah, that's been our show. I'm going to wrap it up now so I can actually get to editing this fucker because it's got to be up in like 15 hours. That has been our show. Thank you ever so much for listening each and every week. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back next week for more. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.